Good afternoon. We are back. We are back in Lion's Head. We are back in the best place in the world. We're back in beautiful Lion's Head for day 3, and you can see the cliff in the background. You can see it's March, so there's still lots of snow. There is the marina, or at least the boats. And Camista is buried back there. So at this point you might be asking yourself, why are you doing the Pullman conversion, converting the Pullmans to a regular V-berth as opposed to just leaving them? And the reason is because my partner Casey and I, we typically don't sleep in the same bed together. She typically sleeps in the pull-out settee, and I typically sleep in the back quarter berth. So what it means is that when we have guests over, we have to continuously take down her bed and put it back up, basically every day. So the desire here is to hopefully get a large enough bed that we can both sleep reasonably comfortable together. At the very least, if we still sleep separate because it's a little too tight, she doesn't have to, break it down and put it back every day. So that's the reason. The reason why we're in Lion's Head, and we've been in Lion's Head for so long, coming up on, we've had the boat for, 10 or 12 years, is because of the cliff back there. So predominantly our passions are around climbing. We love climbing, and we are biased, but the best place in Ontario to climb, at least on the escarpment. So Camista has been a great home base, a great place for us to come up on the weekends, work during the week with Starlink, and just be here. So that's why we're here. The other thing is, the reason why we're doing this conversion is because I want the experience with fiberglass, with repairs, with everything that comes with a boat. So, our desire one day is to get a bigger boat, but I just thought in the short term, it's probably best to get experience doing these types of projects. And if I screw something up, well, I'll learn. And hopefully, if we ever buy another boat, if we ever go down that route, I'll have experience so I won't screw it up twice. So the car's full of all kinds of shit. This is for the cushions, future cushions, vinyl for the cushions, plywood, old cushions, and foam. And here is Camista. Sitting pretty. Looking like she needs a buff job, but holding out the winter all right. Time to clean out the anchor locker. I don't think I've seen the bottom of this in years, so I'll pull it all out. You can see this is where I pulled off the board at the front of the V-berth, which is creating a leaking issue. So here's what the bottom looks like. Pretty gross. Just in time for the snow, I think I'm going to put a tarp over this and protect it so that I can work on the inside and not have too much snow or water come in. It's cold enough that I've started the diesel heater. Back inside the V-berth. Got a bit of snow coming in. The anchor locker has been dripping, and as a result, we've got quite a bit of water here. First step is to clean this all out, dry it up. So suited up. I'm getting ready to open the anchor locker up again and clean it out, and then figure out how I can alter it so that our feet can go just a little bit longer and not compromise the anchor locker too much. So what I should probably address is the number of comments around this this light that I got. I don't know how to do it, but if I can figure out what brand name this is, I'll put maybe I'll just mention it in the description. But it's actually a great light. Not only is it good for this type of stuff, although unconventional, it is great for mood lighting. So that's kind of why I bought 2 of them. They were like, I don't know, $100 on Amazon. So not cheap, but rechargeable and have lasted. And they actually have like 3 different colored lights. So that's good. And then you can dim them depending on your mood. So that's why I'm using them. I think we need some music for some destruction. Well, my friend Drew just stopped by, local sailor, on a boat called Second Wind, which is an Islander 28, I want to say. Yeah, just catching up. Been a long winter, I think, for everybody. So, back at it. I've done a bunch of work and haven't filmed it just because it's so difficult. It's such a small space, but you can see that I've now cut the anchor locker, I don't know, 6 inches off the bottom. It is marine ply that is not sandwiched, but has fiberglass on top, like a layer, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch or something. And then it's tabbed into the hull on both sides, and then the back piece that I ultimately ripped off on the interior is also tabbed in. So technically it was decent. I've removed and ground down some of this with the sander, and I haven't done anything on the other side yet. What they don't tell you about boat work is how sore your back's going to be. That's kind of the progress. Cut the top of the liner down a little bit as well. The plan is to reduce the anchor locker by basically using that fiberglass piece and cutting it so that I can tab it in here and into here. So what it will do, it will allow basically about 6 or 7 inches of additional leg room from, as I said, the blue line is the top, represents roughly the top of the cushions, although I'm probably gonna go a little bit lower. And then you can see that there's gonna be extra space for your feet, for my feet specifically, because Casey's not too long. She's, I don't know, 5'6", but maybe 5'8". I should know this. Anyways, for me, it will provide some additional legroom. I've cut enough fiberglass now that the teeth on this metal blade are now gone. Well, luckily I have a second one. Well, it's been a very, very long day. and I filmed almost nothing, mostly because it was just such a dirty job, and honestly kind of stressful. But I've got my pieces cut out and ready to, they essentially fit into the anchor locker space. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to encase them in epoxy first, let them dry overnight, and then tomorrow we will hopefully begin fiberglassing. But I ran out of juice on my cordless Dremel. I couldn't find my corded Dremel to get rid of the paint, the bilge paint in the storage locker. So tomorrow I'm gonna sort that out and get all the fiberglass exposed properly, and then yeah, hopefully get the piece that will give us more leg room tabbed in. But we'll see, you know, boat jobs, it's always easy in my mind, but it always takes like 3-4 times longer than I think it's going to take. So we'll see. Yeah, it's about midnight, and I think it's time to shut it down. So I'm going to encase this epoxy and then shut it down. So this is the mess that was in the anchor locker. Backup anchor, main anchor, and then just a rat's nest of random rope. Not good. So we'll clean that up, throw most of it out. Some of the thicker lines probably salvageable. So bad news. Last night when I was epoxying these, I thinned the epoxy too much. And so it hasn't fully cured overnight. And that means I'm gonna have to remove it, or at least scrape it and clean it as best I can, and then do another layer. So yeah, lesson learned. It was cold last night, and so the epoxy and resin was really thick, and there's two ways of thinning it. You can either warm it or you can use solvent, and I used too much acetone, so I'm gonna have to redo it. Yeah, is what it is. I should apologize at this point because I didn't film much more. The day was passing by quick, and I had a 3-hour drive and wanted to be back home in Toronto at a reasonable time to spend time with Casey. I had quite a bit of work to do to clean up the boat and close it down for the week, and it was getting windy and chilly as a northeastern was building, as you can see. Before I left, I was able to finish an additional layer of epoxy and lay up 2 layers of 12-ounce biaxial fiberglass across one side of the new anchor locker pieces that will form the new structure. This will add strength and water resistance and make it a lot easier to tab into the hull. Not as much progress as I had planned, but progress nonetheless. Thanks for watching, and until next time.